everybody, welcome back to this short cooking series. The last episode we talked about burgers, turkey burgers and beef, and at the end of the episode I talked about smoking cheese. That's what we're doing today. So one of the things that really gets screwed up with smoking cheese is the temperature control. You can't smoke cheese on the smoke setting on a smoker. It only goes down to 180 degrees. You'll melt the cheese. So what you have to do is use something like this. This is a smoke tube. You load it in that end full of pellets, and the smoke travels in that direction over a given period of time. The approximate burn is somewhere around 3 hours on this. Okay, so the overall concept of smoking cheese, you're going to find out throughout this episode, is really easy. A lot of people, those who have smoked cheese in the past, know that it's easy. Those who haven't smoked cheese before, they find a lot of difficulty in it because it's really easy to melt the cheese. Okay, so without further ado, let's get out to the grill and let's start smoking this cheese. So we're at the grill. We're getting ready to put some cheese on. I've got the smoke tube loaded up with pellets. I've got my thermometer out. I've got my lighter here, getting ready to light that guy, and I got my cheese. You can see in the background the sun's just come out. It's about 7 o'clock. It's 55 degrees out. You can see a little bit of sunshine on the tree there, but we're in the full shade. As soon as the sun hits the grill, the temperature of this grill is going to go up. Okay, so the smoke from the tube is already going to slightly increase the temperature inside the grill. Okay, so you don't want to make that worse by being in the full sun or anything like that. So we want to do this in the shade if possible. So let's go ahead and I'm going to get my cheese ready to put on here. This is all pretty quick. Okay. The critical thing about this entire job is to make sure that we're staying below 75 degrees. So this is what my setup's going to look like. I'm going to move you in a little bit closer to watch the light. All right, let's light this tube. This is the lighter that I've got here. It is a torch. I always use a torch. Torches are best. If you can get one that's got 3, then great. If you only got one, if it's only got one burner on it, that's fine too. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, so we're just going to start lighting this, and you want to think of this kind of like you're lighting incense. Some of you have used incense in the past. Some of you haven't. But we've got a big flame on this side. You see the flame. Just a little bit of a flame there. We want to start with a flame on this end. And you can really see that it's starting to go. Make sure that it's going really good on this end. Maybe this is common sense, maybe it's not, but you don't want to light the whole entire thing. The idea of this is that it's the smoke is going to start from this end and work down there. It's going to be roughly about an hour's burn. Okay. You can't really see the flame, but there's still a flame there. I'm going to blow it out. And now there's a bunch of smoke. I've got my tube on this side. The smoker stack is on this side. So when I close this lid, this whole cavity is going to fill up and come out the stack on that way. So it's moving in that direction. The smoke is always moving in that direction. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to put on my thermometer. I've got the thermometer here, and I'm just going to set this in here. Okay. just however I can. This is just to monitor the cheese and make sure that that cheese stays below 75 degrees. If it goes above 75 degrees, you probably need to rescue that cheese before it starts to melt. This is what a lot of people end up screwing up, is either they put this on the wrong, they have this switched, or maybe they have the rack that I already took out, the rack that's on here, they put the cheese on top, or they put the cheese over the top of this. The cheese will melt. Okay, so we want the fire, consider this the fire, away from the cheese, just doing its thing over here, and the cheese on this side. Okay, I've only got one brick of cheese on here. You can load this up as long as whatever you got in here, no matter what it is you're cold smoking, is on this side of the grill, about half of the grill over, then you're good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this. This is gonna be roughly about an hour. I'm gonna come back and check on this and check it out. So we'll be back in just a bit. All right, so it's been about an hour and a half. Sometimes I go an hour, sometimes I go an hour and a half. Today I went an hour and a half. As you can see, we've still got smoke coming out of here. So the temperature, we're still in the shade, but the temperature has risen all the way to 70 degrees, even though we're still in the shade. So like I said before, you are going to experience some temperature rise, so you want to make sure it's kind of cold outside. I just received a text message. Okay, so what I've got here on the side, I've got a grill grate. I'm using this out of my food dehydrator. You can use whatever you got, but you want to use some sort of grate. And I'm going to put this on a plate. So now what we're going to do, we're going to remove the cheese and then just let this continue to smoke out until the all the pellets in the tube are completely burnt out and it's cold. You don't want to handle the tube for at least a half an hour after everything is burnt out, because that's going to be hot. It doesn't look like it's going to be hot, but it's going to be hot, so just leave it alone. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to remove this cheese, we're going to wipe it down and put it on this grill grate. All right, here we go. All right, so I'll remove my thermometer. I'm done with that. You can see here, the smoke's coming out right here. There's still quite a bit left there. If you wanted to try and extinguish that, you could. I'm just gonna let it run out. That's no big deal. I can afford the pellets and I got time. So we can see the cheese has got a little bit of sweat on it. Okay, so we're just gonna give it a pat. And if you wanted to, you could let this go longer, so you got an even stronger smoke. I do that sometimes, just let it go for many hours. I'm not doing that today. I'm just going to go for just a light smoke. This is sufficient for what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the grill grate. I put it on a plate so that air can kind of get to the bottom of it. I'm going to put this whole setup in the fridge. I want to put it in the fridge for roughly about an hour, make sure it's nice and cold before I start slicing. All right, are we ready to cut the cheese? I think we are. This is cold to the touch. And that's really the reason you want to put that in the fridge. You don't want this coming out of the smoker at 70 degrees or anything like that, and it just mushes in your hand kind of like clay. So you want this to be nice and firm. This is the way you're gonna keep it in the fridge anyway. So we're just gonna start giving this a slice. Okay. You might be able to see a little bit of discoloration, but not much. Maybe if we do that. The outside of it kind of has a little bit of a smoke ring. You can leave this cheese in that smoker if you wanted a real heavy smoke. You can put it in there for 3 hours, 4 hours if you want. This go around, and I've done that in the past, it tastes really good. This go around, I just chose to go with a lighter smoke. And that's kind of the benefit to smoking your own cheese, is that it's up to you. You've got full control how much of a smoky flavor you want. Plus, you know, there's all of the different woods and stuff like that that you can use. I've said it in previous videos, I use a blend of cherry and apple. But if you like a really strong flavor, you can go with something a little bit more bold. You can go with a mesquite, which is real bold, or you can go with oak, or you can go with a blend. You can buy a blend. It's all good, and it's all up to you. Okay. So you can see it's nice and back to being cold. And boy, is that good. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a little bit about cold smoking cheese. Right in front of me, I've got 3 different cheeses here. I'm gonna put up the picture of all these on their side so that you can see the 3 levels of cheese. Right on my right, your left, I've got no smoke. That on the edge, that's got virtually no color. The middle in the picture, we had the smoked cheese that we smoked today. That's roughly about an hour and a half smoke. And then I mentioned the longer smoke, 3-hour smoke. That's what I have right here. So I have all 3 of these cheeses so you can see what they all look like. All different, you know, no smoke flavor, a nice smoke flavor in the middle, and then a heavy smoke for those who like heavy smoke. Sometimes I like a heavy smoke, so occasionally I do a heavier smoke. So I'm going to show you how I really like to eat this. This is the turkey burger from the last episode. And I'm just going to put a little bit of honey mustard on there. One of the things that I wanted to mention is you can cold smoke in really any enclosed space that has an entrance and an exit. Okay, so you can use a grill. You can use a gas grill if you want. So that's what I got here. So if you want to do the hors d'oeuvre thing, this is amazing. Like I said, you can use any grill that's got an entrance and an exit. I prefer to use a smoker. I have a smoker, but you can use a gas grill. If you got a gas grill, use your gas grill. Use whatever you got. Just make sure that that tube is away from the cheese so that it doesn't melt. Okay, so on the next episode, we're going to be talking about orange pie. We're going to step away from the grill. We're going to talk about orange pie. It's not something that people make very often. You may or may not have even heard of it, but it's a showstopper. It's got an amazing, amazing flavor to it. I think you're really going to enjoy it. For a complete list of all my equipment that I use for all these episodes, go back to the first episode. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes. Be sure to go back. That'll give you a breakdown of all the costs and all that other kind of stuff. All right. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.